Okay. I think you guys can hear me. I'm just looking to see if you. Hey, what's up? All right, I see it. I can see the chats. Yeah, I was away for a minute. My computer was down. Last time I was here, my I did a Reggie Robinson video. Didn't go real well due to the fact that it was lagging and it was choppy. But you guys actually watched it, and I'm like, yo, you guys didn't notice the fact that it was looking crazy. So no one warned me. But I'm going to share my screen now, and I'll be jumping back in and forth with the comments as well. But we're going to talk about Reggie Robinson. Like this board kind of tells it all on him. I know we did a video on him before. I know you guys have seen it. Um, I'm not liking the resolution on YouTube. I can't stand the resolution on YouTube every time. It doesn't look like my screen at all. So I think I need a new computer with a new graphics card. But either way, at least it's not choppy and you can see enough to, ascertain what's going on. I just don't like the app. But here we go. His issues are as follows. Like I still see it, man. I can still see it. I thought my computer was better. I could still see it. I don't like this shit. I'm looking on the live screen, and I know it's fuzzy. Let me see. What do you guys see? Yep. At what point do we see him utilize? What's up, Casey? How you doing? I'm just trying to fix something real quick. Hold on. Can you guys hear me okay too? This is the wrong motherfucking live too. This is Smoking Cigars live. Or at least I'm talking as that. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I'm still a cool, yeah. All right, there we go. Now the resolution looks better. Okay, got it. All right, here we go. I'll start by going off on like what Reggie Robinson can't do. Like his coverage technique is pretty good. He doesn't really screw that up too often. When it comes to playing one-on-one, you'll notice throughout the video, he lines up, as I said before, he lines up without any help on a regular basis. And he does that pretty well. So I won't take anything away from him there. His coverage ability is where it's at. What people do see though is his willingness to tackle. So you'll see his willingness to tackle here. People will see his willingness to tackle and they'll assume that he's a safety. Because you look at this and say, hey, safety. This guy can come down, he's gonna bring some boom, he can hit. But what you're watching and what you consistently watch, so we'll talk about what he isn't first, and he's not a safety. And the reason I say that is because what you're watching and what you'll notice as you watch these clips is that when he's unimpeded to the ball carrier, he will come down. He doesn't have a problem hitting you. He'll do that. When he's blocked, he stays blocked. His feet go dead when he gets blocked. So that's not a sign you want to see in a safety. He is a corner that will hit you. That's exactly what he is. He's not a safety at all. You'll see at the top of the screen here, he'll come down and get past the block and get in the backfield and tackle for loss. So them people will say, hey, he looks like he could play safety, but he's really not much of a safety at all. But I'm just showing you highlights here of him, disengaging his guy and then coming down and hitting. And he can do that on a regular basis. You see there, he kind of pulls up there instead of laying some boom. But the way they used him in Tulsa is in space. So they will put him in space. And you can see here on this diagram, they'll put him in space and they'll ask him to take his man out. So he'll take his man out, and then it allows the defense rather to shift everyone else to another side of the field. So you'll see at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see there's press with both corners on the outside. This is cover two, but this is like a cover two out of the dollar formation. But they're pressing on the outside, and then inside you see how many lines of sight they have on these receivers that are here. So they're all over him. There's not much you can do with this formation other than what they do here, which is, check down underneath. And as they check down, everybody rallies to the ball. But this is how Tulsa allows Reggie to work and how they used Reggie. You see him at the top of the screen there pressing, and it allows everybody else to kind of blitz and do whatever they want to do to create pressure in the backfield or to cover and double team, and help those guys who aren't as athletic and as gifted as he is. So he makes the entire secondary better just from his involvement, just the way he plays and his physicality and intimidation is really where it's at. You see there at the top of the screen here, he's in one-on-one. These two guys, because there's no release next to him, those guys are kind of like free safeties. They're just floating, doing what they want to do. And then everyone else, it's like 5-on-3 on the other side of the field. There's absolutely nowhere the quarterback can really go with this ball And this forces either you're going to throw it at Reggie, which is their best player, or you're gonna take and make tougher throws everywhere else. And you see where those windows are. You can throw at Reggie, he's covered though, or you can throw into double and triple teams all day. And you see this is what the scheme allows, or what it's called for, which is trying to force you to throw into uncomfortable looks and force interceptions and force bad air throws. That's what Reggie Robinson allowed Tulsa to do because he gets no help ever. You see him at the top of the screen. He's going to come down. I think he's playing zone here. So, he's playing runner actually. So then this is another, safety look. You'll say, you'll see that highlight. Say, he could play safety. He cannot play safety. He's not a safety. Here again, you see why they need to shift everyone else to the middle of the field because Tulsa just wasn't that good at defense. Let's just be honest. They didn't have the athletes that everyone else has. So what Reggie allowed is for you to load this box, and you see why they needed to load the box because they're still getting run through. This is Oklahoma State. They still got run through like, Swiss cheese, even with a loaded box. So that's why they use Reggie Robinson the way they do. You see here again, it's just another example of them shifting everything away from him and leaving him out in space. But this also allows offenses and coordinators to kind of isolate him and attack him in a lot of unique ways. But you see, this is what Tulsa wants. They want to force a deeper throw towards Reggie. So that's why they like to put him on the furthest hash away from the ball so that he has more time if, for whatever reason, he gets beat off of the break. He has time to recover because he's not the quickest guy. He's very fast, but not quick. Plays Bell pretty good because his strengths are his eyes and his instincts and his physicality. And, that plays well to a zone coverage type of corner. So if you ask him to play a cover 2 type scheme, these are like examples of him, doing that. But he can play cover 2, with the best of them. I definitely have to upgrade computers, man. It is what it is. I'm looking on live and I don't like the resolution. I need a new graphics card. But for right now, we're going to do it anyway. So you guys are going to see this video and then you're going to see me take it down once again. And I'm going to go and buy the computer that I thought I needed to buy. I tried to just fix this one, which is fixed now, but it's not the computer. It's the resolution. It's the graphics card. So excuse me on that. It's a Mac, but it's probably like a 2012, something like that. Need to get the fuck rid of it. So anyway, back to the breakdown. You can see here, they try to go inside him. It doesn't matter. He's very comfortable, whether you're playing off or on. They tried to go inside while he's playing off. He gets right up on the wide receiver's hips, rides his hip, keeps his eye on the quarterback at the same time, which is what our guys weren't doing. They get on the receiver when they're playing man, but they can't make plays on the ball, and that's because they're not paying attention to the backfield because they have to focus on their coverage so much. Reggie kind of gets around that. You see here, they gets himself an interception here, but he gets around there. He doesn't have a problem with that. Good ball skills, good with the ball in his hands. He's a pretty good playmaker. Don't have a problem with any of that when it comes to him. You see at the bottom of the screen how he fights. Like these guys will push. They push their man out of bounds all day long, all day. Reggie's at the top of the screen playing off here. Now I chose this play because of the way he covers his guy, but then he peels off of him. While watching the guy that's in his jet streams underneath. And if he'd have just been a little bit better at just change direction, he's not great when it comes to change direction. But if he was, that would have been an interception or a bang bang play there. He was just like a half a step late due to his lack of ability to get in and out of breaks quickly. That's his only knock. He's a bully at the line of scrimmage. He knows how to use his size, and he will consistently take his guy out of the play. And what you're asking yourself with Reggie Robinson is, hey, do you want a guy that, is going to give up a big play every now and then because he's very aggressive and he plays by himself? But for the most part, if you look at 70% of a game, he's going to take his guy out of that game, out of that game. He never backs down. He doesn't get any help, and he's not afraid. And he makes plays on the ball, even though he doesn't have any help. Like he does it here. You see that? He just has great athleticism. And he gets his hand on the ball consistently. He loses this one. Sometimes you're going to lose. It's just going to happen. You're not going to get them all. But you notice, he gets no help. So this is what I mean by the 70-30 rule. He'll give up three, good plays or 3 receptions. Not for touchdowns, though. Not deep. He's pretty good deep. That stiff arm created the separation that was needed for that wide receiver to make even a spectacular catch, though. He had to make a catch, even though he's contested. He had to make that catch. You know, NFL guys are paid to do that on a consistent basis, but Reggie did his job there. That's basically what I'm saying. Every game at some point, you're going to see this, and he's going to force his man, especially if that guy's not physical, he's going to force his man to the perimeter and out of bounds. He does this day in, day out, game in, game out. I've done a lot of film study on him because my computer's been down, so I had nothing to do but watch. I couldn't do anything with the film. But anyway, you can see he boxes this guy out there. You know, even when the plays aren't coming his way, doesn't really matter. But on this, when they try him anyway, after he forced his man out of bounds, and he still gets up there like, fuck that, don't try it. Like he's on your ass, period. Yeah, hold on again. All right, there he just takes his guy completely out of the play. Those other two guys run routes, but he takes his guy completely out of the play. There's nothing you can do with him there. And you know, again, this is just what I like about Reggie Robinson, man. He's just a different type of dude. I'm going to definitely, I'm going to do this live. You guys are going to see it live because you're seeing it live. You're seeing this resolution. When I redo it, I'm going to do a voiceover and put it out, you know, after rendering it properly, because I think it's the fact that it's live too is taking some away from the resolution, because on my screen, I can see things very clear. On the YouTube screen, I can't. So I'm going to put this back up again after this live, but I'm going to put it back up with a different voiceover because I'm obviously going to have to record this in a private session. So you guys are getting there, I guess, a freebie live session on this one. Excuse the resolution though, if you guys can't see it. All right, let's get back to business. I'm going back here because I just got on a little tangent there. I'm going to go back and I'm going to show you guys something because I want to actually talk through each one of these slides. All right. Okay, here we go. All right, now from here, you'll see once again, he doesn't respect quarterbacks. He doesn't respect his wide receiver at all. Doesn't have any help. Doesn't give a shit. And this is what I do like. Although he wasn't up against the greatest competition, he acted like he wasn't up against the greatest competition. So people say, well, I don't know what he is because he's a fourth rounder and he didn't play against top-notch wide receivers. But he played wide receivers that weren't top-notch the way you're supposed to when you're better, which is by your damn self. If you have help and you're playing against average receivers, then I don't know what you are. If you play an average receiver without any help consistently, then I know that you are a man amongst boys when it comes to that. They disguise this blitz, which forces the ball out of the quarterback's hands a little quicker. And Reggie, you know, again, at the top of his routes, he's still physical, but controlled. He's very controlled. He doesn't get a lot of PIs. You'll see a few of them in this video, but he doesn't get a lot of them because he pays attention. He's very controlled at the top of his routes and still aggressive, fighting for the ball. So these are the things that he does well. These are the good, you know, he has good, bad, and ugly. This is definitely the good and the beautiful. His coverage ability as a corner against guys like the DJ Metcalfs of the world or your bigger, you know, receivers, no problem. Big physical. He's like a lot like Byron Jones. You know, he's a guy that he wants to get his hands on you if you're big. He can run straight lines with you if you're fast, but I wouldn't put him up against, you know, the little Santana Moss type guys in space without him being able to look. This is them trying to do that. And he does okay. Like he forces this guy inside by sitting on the outside foot. He forces him inside and then rides that hip and to the ball and breaks that ball up. But I just don't like him against smaller guys and against short area quickness type guys. That's not his strength. If I would give him a grade there, it's like a C against short area quickness guy. But he has an A+ against big guys. If you're big, he's ready for you. He doesn't have a problem dealing with that. You see him there I think that's at the top of the screen. That's what I mean. Those short stops, like those hitch routes, those quick stop routes, stop and go routes, double moves, just like any other corner. He gets beat on those sometimes, not on a regular basis, but sometimes. You'll see here they try to space him out there, and he just takes his guy out of the play, man. It takes him out of the play and just destroys that slant route. It wasn't a slant because he had his hands all over the guy, man. Yeah, his hands up. Here they use him as a screen, a moving screen for his safety, and you know they don't get the ball there. But you see how they're trying to attack him. I think UCF attacked him quite well actually, but sometimes the hunter gets hunted, man. You'll see he gets yanked down here, and he has a habit of letting wide receivers strike first. They'll get their hands on him, and when they get their hands on him, you know he's very aggressive. He doesn't care. He doesn't use his hands very well, but he uses his body, and sometimes that plays against him. But you can see why that wide receiver had to do this here. UCF wide receiver anyway. Why he had to do that is because Reggie still catches him, even though he got up off the ground to do so, because you're not burning him. He has good catch up speed, shows great recovery here. He will hawk you down, but sometimes his aggression, will work against him, whether it be at the top of routes or at the release. It doesn't matter. His aggression, you can use it against him at times. Good technique here, but the overthrow forces the PI because he has good technique, but he's expecting the ball at a certain time. Like he's expecting this ball right now. So he turns, and when he turns, he loses sight of the ball. And once he loses sight, that placement is kind of inside. So the wide receiver's trying to drift through him inside. So he gets his head turned. His feet force the collision because he's actually faster than this receiver. So while his eyes are up, he runs into the back of him. And that would have been fine. That would have been incidental contact. But he uses that arm at the last second. That arm, draws the contact. He shouldn't have grabbed him there. And at the last second, he's going to grab. And when he does that, it's a PI. So, you could see he just tackles the guy there. But that's because he knows he doesn't have help. So he can't afford to fuck up. He doesn't have any help. So he's not giving up a touchdown. He'll give up a PI if he's not sure. And that's consistent. This is him again. Another pass interference, again, for the same reason. He's there with his guy. Perfect defense. But at the last second, he loses the ball. So he reaches out and he grabs his guy again because he thinks that he caught it. He doesn't know. He lost the ball. So when he lost the ball, he lost contain or lost control of this situation, panics and tackles the guy. Doesn't do that consistently, though. So this is him, in zones and cover two looks. That was him in man. You can see how solid he is in man. Doesn't get beat that often. Excuse me. We got people driving motorcycles out here, so you probably can hear that in the background. But he doesn't do that often. And when it comes to zone, especially short area zone, he makes contact and then he drives on the next man. So he's always covering two in zone, and whether it's cover two or cover three, it doesn't matter. He will make contact with his guy and then he will drive on the ball. You see here, he's just underneath. He's floating underneath that wheel route that he tried to throw over his head. His athleticism shows there against Oklahoma State. His athleticism shows there because he has range and he's able to use his eyes. His cover two ability is just as good as his man coverage, to be honest with you. He has great instincts and he knows how to reroute his guys. Like that right there is more important than when you're playing cover two. Just touching your guy and giving your safety time to get underneath those routes. And then he just floats back here. And if this was a well-thrown ball, it would have been another pick six because this quarterback wasn't expecting him to float back just like that right there. So a better throw would have been a pick six. Average throw would have been a kill shot. And he gave his safety time on that play, which is all you can ask for. Again, he's very intelligent, and he does it again here. If you don't block him, if you don't get a body on him, he drives down in the backfield, whether it's against the run or pass, aggressively. That would have been a pick six too. So if you don't touch him, it's a wrap for you, man, if you're not touching him. And I like that. We don't see a lot of that. We don't see a lot of guys jumping routes and doing a lot of that. So, other than Jordan Lewis, shout out to Jordan Lewis. But you could see him. He redirects it. He redirects here. So he cuts his guy off and redirects, and now he's going to drive on the open space. That's how people attack him. That's how offensive coordinators attack him. Or they just run right at him, which is why he's not a safety. They run right at him. He can't get off of blocks. Or they run screens at him, and he can't get off blocks. So if you'll see here at the top of the screen, right? Boom. He misses the press there. So when he misses that press, it just messes his timing up. And he couldn't get back underneath that route. He wasn't playing man there, so it wasn't like, he got burnt here. He just didn't get enough depth. And that quarterback makes a pretty good throw over his head anyway. Like, that was a tough throw. And it looks like he got beat there, but he wasn't in man coverage. So remember that. And here again, look at how many options. SMU was giving him work, man. Look how many options they ran at him. Look at how many decisions he has to make on this play. Does he get underneath this? So he floats back. Let me get underneath it, right? Then he says, oh, no, they're running somebody underneath me. So he's going to step back down, boom, pause. Now, do I go underneath this guy or do I drive on the flat? He doesn't know. So he stops because they did a halfback wide receiver reverse throw. So a trick play there tricks him. But you can see how he played cover two, really played cover four by himself. He covered four people. And this is another way they attack him. They'll block with a receiver, throw little hitch routes, things like that. And sometimes he just uses raw aggression to run right through it. But I'd like to see him just getting rid of his guys a little bit more. If he can just learn one thing, which is just to dismantle a receiver's block, just get past the receiver, stop letting him hold you up, and just get past him, he'll be a Pro Bowler in no time. Because that's his only hiccup is when people get in front of him, his legs go dead, and he's just not good with the quick stuff. I think even with his inability to cover the little fleet-footed guys, you could put Jordan Lewis on one of those guys. He's still going to get the job done. But you can see this is a good example. He doesn't use his hands here, so you can see that wide receiver has him in a chokehold or kind of holding him, and his feet go dead, so he doesn't drive through blocks, and that's really his biggest issue. If there is any, that and short area quickness are his issues, the only issues. He doesn't really have if he has the will and the technique down, he'll start getting through those blocks a lot more consistent. You see here, he tries it again. That's a hold right there, though. So he does draw a hold here because he let this wide receiver get into his body. You can see that they actually called the hold on it. But this happens too. This is how teams choose to attack him, because they know with him on an island, if you can get him out of the way and get the ball out there quick into that space, you have a lot of room to work. And he gets himself taken out of these plays consistently. And you'll see even quarterbacks when they roll out, the Baltimores of the world or the Seahawks of the world will kill this guy because, if you block him on the perimeter, you see they just took him out of the play with this. Like they put him out all the way out on the edge on purpose, and they're just using that space that Tulsa gives him against him. They don't get anywhere with it, but blocking is like 10% technique and 90% want to. Man, you can have perfect technique, but if you don't really want to dismantle your guy, you're not going to. And you can see how he does and how they attack him on a consistent basis that way. Just put a guy out in front of him, and he's going to have trouble. And that's consistent, all the time. The bully gets bullied only when it comes to block shedding. Everything else, I don't have a problem with him. Anywhere else, on anything else, he does pretty good. It's just when it comes to block shedding. So this is why he's not a safety. He's more of a corner. Plays like a corner, sheds blocks like a corner, even though he has the size of a safety. He plays with the temperament of an aggressive, Aqib Talib, Richard Sherman type of corner. He'll hit you. He can play man or coverage. You see here, this is another example. Quarterbacks rolling out like Russell Wilson and Lamar Jackson will kill this type of shit. If you get blocked up field and you're the last man between death and a touchdown, you gotta die on this route, bro. But he allows himself to get blocked up. He even recognizes it late because he's a man, and that's a good and a bad thing. He's focused on his job, but sometimes a little bit too much, to a point where he can't really help out anywhere else. And spacing, they use spacing to kill him. So he's going to be on the edge, not inside with the Cowboys. He's not going to be a safety for the Cowboys. Well, at least not this year. He can hit. I'm excited to see what he can do out on the edge as a corner. That's what he is. UCF was very creative. They were attacking that empty space. You see there, they attacked that space by putting him all the way out on the perimeter and widening out that slot and that seam. They were attacking that seam all day, or they were just running guys at him for him to have to deal with and shed. So UCF, I like their offensive coordinator. He did a great job of keeping Reggie busy, and so did SMU. They kept him pretty busy too. But even with that, you see how they just opened up that seam there by having that wide receiver widen out a little bit more, and then they attack the furthest or the space on that field. But here's his poison. If there wasn't ugly for Reggie, here's the ugly. You see at the top of the screen, those quick guys, he makes the tackle here, but those quick guys destroy him, man. And when I say destroy, you shouldn't consistently get put on your ass when you're dealing with quickness. And he does. There he's on his ass there. And I'm not trying to pick on him. This is just, if you don't put it on film, I can't talk about it. It's on the film, so I got to talk about it. It is what it is. Not trying to pick on you, not trying to play you if you're watching this, Reggie, but you're changing direction skills. Well, your hips are kind of tight, and, he comes out of his breaks too aggressively sometimes, and he plants wrong. So maybe he needs some new sneakers, but, got to be the shoes, maybe. But he's always on the ground when it comes to those quick guys. If he doesn't get his hands on you, I don't like him half as much when he's against those little guys. I like him against average receivers and big guys. He'll kill them. Those Emmanuel Sanders guys will do this to him consistently. Look at this. That release was beautiful. Nice. That's, all day. He didn't get thrown at here, but look at what happened. Boom, done. Quarterback just didn't know he was going to hit the ground, but he gets done there. He gets done in on a regular basis when it comes to those quick guys. At the bottom of the screen again, boom. He misses the tackle because of the quickness of this guy. Boom, down, gone. See? So quick guys consistently, when they change directions, They get him out of here, man. And that's just who he is. That's a quick stutter step release, kind of freezes up his jam. He can't press, so he's just sitting there waiting to engage. And as he does that, there's that separation when that guy puts his foot in the ground. He separates, he turns, and he puts him on his ass again. So this is how they attack him in the air. When it comes to throwing at him, you quick guys are going to kill him. And when it comes to the ground, spacing. This is schematically. This is not his fault here. But in this guy, I think his name, I forgot his name, but he's an undrafted. That running back's an undrafted running back for the Philadelphia Eagles. Little dude from UCF. You guys will figure his name out if you don't already know it. But look out for him because we're going to be playing against this guy too. He's like a little Darren Sproles guy. That's why I put this clip in here. This wasn't Reggie's fault. Had nothing to do with Reggie. But the spacing itself does. He's not gonna see here. If he were to dismantle this guy and get in that backfield, he can cut this off. But he's not going to. Like when it comes to the run, he's not much of a help out there at corner. And if and his top end speed, you can see there, he's fast, but his acceleration just isn't quite there. But he's good. Change of direction and acceleration are a problem. Welcome to the Cowboys, Reggie. I appreciate y'all. I'm not gonna jump off right this second. I will stop sharing my screen though. All right, stop share. All right, I'm still live. But yeah, just in closing or in wrapping, man, I think Reggie Robinson, I think he can do more than some of our current corners. I like him better than Cheeto on the outside. He's more physical than Cheeto is. Cheeto's more instinctive. Cheeto hits better. He's better as a safety than Reggie ever was or ever could be. And also Trayvon Diggs is not a safety either. He tackles too high and tackles too tentatively. He's more of a zone coverage, press cover corner. He's better at zone than he is at man. Reggie is the better overall coverage corner, period, due to his athleticism and his freakish strength. He's strong as fuck, and and his temperament, he doesn't care. Trayvon also doesn't care, but I think he was protected a little bit more. He played better receivers, of course, though, so he needed that protection, but he was protected a little bit more by his scheme. And so I think we'll learn more about Trayvon in training camp than we did on film because he wasn't left in those situations in Alabama. Whereas Reggie Robinson, I think we're getting what we're getting. Like, this is what you're going to get because you saw him in every situation you can possibly see him in. And I got a very large sample size. I've watched more film on him than I will want to because of my computer. Had to watch him a little bit more. But yeah, man, you guys see what it is, man. You said we done with that. Get Aaron. Y'all talking crazy in here. I gotta catch up. Let me see. Let me see what y'all talking about. Let me get down there. Yeah, because y'all talking reckless. I need to change you're gonna see Smoking Cigars. That's another channel that I started a long time ago. I don't know why it's up here as my name, but I'm Smoking Cigars today. So I'm gonna type in the cool. Yeah, you guys can see that. That's me there. What's good, yeah? Alumba in Cleveland. Oh, I'm going up. I'm gonna read some of your comments. Not many though. Look at that. You said I'm starting Diggs week 1 sink or swim. Alumba going to be in a lot of CB's way. Alumba gets released. Yeah, he in Cleveland. They say, "What's good, Rue? What's good, Twine? What's good, y'all? Got my phone ringing here. Dak is your quarterback. That's the truth. Dak is definitely the QB. Make sure y'all guys hitting the like button. For those of you who are on here. And remember, I'm definitely I'm going to jump off because I'm going to do a voiceover again for this video. I do apologize for the quality of the imagery. I don't know why it does that only when I share my screen. You guys can see me clearly right now, but as soon as I share my screen, it gets extra fuzzy. So I need a new computer. And I don't want a piece of shit. So I'm going to spend like 2-3K on one. So that's what I'm on right now. It goes back and forth. Yeah, loud and clear. Got you. What's up, Eddie? All right. Let me see what else you guys are saying in here. Trying to be incognito. No, I ain't hide. I don't know why this account is up here. It's supposed to be a Koye Media, but it's getting there. Yeah, he said, look good to you, Tyrone. It looks good to you because you can't see what I'm looking at. I'm looking on YouTube too. And maybe I look for my phone. Maybe it does look different, but I'm looking on YouTube while watching my shared screen, and it doesn't look halfway as good as my screen. My screen is not as fuzzy. So it is what it is. What's up, Mike's Meticulous Detail Podcast? Long ass name. What's up, bro? How you been? Yeah, but I'm jumping off. I'm gonna go do the voiceover. I'm gonna watch this after it renders just to see the quality. And hey, let's keep going. If it is good enough, I'll do Trayvon Diggs. I have his film again. I keep saying it. I got everybody's film all queued up. The good thing is you guys are gonna get a lot of work because I've been working. It just haven't been able to put everything live that I want to put live or online. But I've been working, so it's a lot of shit cut up. I got work for days. So, I want to make sure it's right though. I don't like to put out shoddy quality just to put something out. That's not me. If it's not right, it ain't right. So I don't put it out. And it is what it is because I really stand behind what the fuck I'm saying. I'm not saying it just to say it. So if I'm gonna stand behind it, it got to be right. Otherwise, I ain't gonna put it out. So I apologize once again for the inconsistency. It's not due to a lack of work or a lack of effort or a lack of time. It's just I'm having some technical difficulties. But we out of here, man. Support the channel, support the network. We all growing. A shout out to everybody I roll with. Y'all all know who y'all are. Those who don't know because I don't roll with you. And I shout out to my bro Maine, man. We were supposed to do a show last night, but I was putting this room together. So let's get it. All right, man. I love y'all. I love what I do. Appreciate everything, man. Talk to y'all soon.